Hey everybody, Karen Anderson here with Aortic Hope for this week's Week in Review. Can't wait to see who joins us today because when you join, you're going to be entered. I'm going to pick one person today who, out of the people who banter and communicate with me, to pick their choice of a prize, a car magnet or a car decal. Okay, so really it's a magnet, it's an awareness magnet or a car decal. So that one goes in the window. So yeah, it's the first week in review of June. It's going to be summer in any minute. I'm really excited about it. My light just got funky. Okay, so before we get started, I need you guys to click like, click subscribe so that you are notified when we go live, because we go live for these things. I mean, then we also go live when we have our Ask a Doctor event. We go live when we have physicians or other clinicians or really anybody that comes on that wants to talk to the community. We just had Sarah on from Help Text last week, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. So yeah, if you click the bell, you're going to get a notification, and then you don't have to kind of try to remember. And we know how good everybody's memory is in this community, right? So do all of that. Meanwhile, I'm going to get started. We're not going to get started with Monday because Monday was Memorial Day. So I hope everybody had a wonderful Memorial Day. We're going to get started on Tuesday. And it's going to be fun because I did not practice. And you know how Tuesdays go. Tuesdays are written by our medical students and our medical resident. So they always use some really fun big words. And usually I go to Google pronounce or pronounce on whatever's on the internet, and I practice it, and I have like little Post-it notes on how to say words. Didn't get a chance to do that today. So actually this post is from Samantha. So she really hopes everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend. Adam is actually preparing for his board test, so we all wish him good luck. I think he just finished all of his finals as he ventures into his 4th year as a med student. And last week, Duke, our resident, because of course he graduated, now he's a resident, was explaining about diuretics and mentioned a few of the medications. And we've been kind of slowly going through these. And the reason we've been focusing on diuretics is because they really help with, for people who are retaining fluid, people who suffer from edema, that swelling. And it's that time of year. It's going to be hot. It's so hot in the West. I can't believe they're having average temp of, what are they like at? Somebody hit 111, I think, today. That's insane for the beginning of June. So with all the heat, diuretics become really helpful in helping us shed and lose some of that excess fluid. So we talked about a drug last week, and this one we're going to talk about furosemide, which is more commonly known as Lasix. Okay, so Lasix is actually the brand name for furosemide. So much easier to say Lasix than to say furosemide. But it's a very potent diuretic, and it belongs to a class of drugs that are known as loop diuretics. And this basically works by inhibiting the reabsorption of sodium and chloride in the kidneys, specifically in the loop of, I think it's pronounced Henle, I'm going to guess, could be pronounced totally differently. And I'm assuming that this is an area of your body. I'm just reading it. I'm not a doctor. I'm just sharing the info. So this action of helping to inhibit the reabsorption of sodium and chloride actually increases the urine production, and it helps to remove excess fluid from the body. So why would Lasix be chosen as a prescription for people who have aortic disease or heart disease? So it helps to manage hypertension, and patients who have had an aortic dissection or other aortic disease often have hypertension. That's why we're on a lot of these beta blockers, right? And this is a significant risk factor that can exacerbate these conditions. By reducing the volume of fluid in the blood vessels, Lasix actually helps to reduce your blood pressure and thereby decreasing stress on the aorta. That's how everything goes hand in hand. Reduce the volume of fluid, it reduces your blood pressure, and it reduces the stress on the aorta. The other things that Lasix can do is it reduces fluid overload. So in heart disease patients, particularly heart failure, so for people who have heart failure, the heart's ability to pump blood efficiently becomes compromised. And this leading to fluid buildup in the body, we don't want that. So this can result in symptoms like edema. We talked about edema means swelling, and it can also lead to pulmonary congestion. Lasix helps to alleviate all of these symptoms by removing excess fluid, improving your breathing, and by reducing that swelling. It actually prevents pulmonary edema, and that's going to be swelling that's going to be in your lungs. So patients with severe aortic or heart conditions are at risk of pulmonary edema, where the fluid accumulates in the lungs, and Lasix is pretty critical in managing or preventing this condition, ensuring that patients can maintain adequate oxygen and respiratory function. Learn something new every day. Now, this doesn't mean that this is the appropriate diuretic for everyone. So this is where it becomes interesting. And we talked about this last week. Not every prescription works the same way that's in the same class. So you can take a different beta blocker and you may not have the same side effect as the one you were originally on. You can take a different diuretic and it's not going to have necessarily the same effect or necessarily be correct for you. So these are the people that should not take Lasix. People who have, and I'm going to butcher this word, I feel confident, severe hypovolemia or dehydration. See, why can't they just stick with dehydration? Why we got to go into like a multi-syllabic word? Severe dehydration. So when you use Lasix in people who are severely dehydrated or have low blood volume, this can actually exacerbate conditions leading to dangerous drops in blood pressure and further complications. So if you're somebody who has or you're experiencing a sudden lower blood pressure, I probably would recommend making sure your doctor is aware of this before you would take your diuretic. Have this plan with your physician. What do I do? What is too low? Do I still take it regardless? If you're feeling a little dizzy when you stand up and you're taking it, I would also definitely let your physician know, because you could be experiencing lower blood pressure. And then when you release all that fluid volume, it's lowering your blood pressure again. And that could be part of any additional side effects you're feeling. This is where communicating, thus advocating, comes in really handy. Also, people who have an electrolyte imbalance. If you have a significant electrolyte imbalance, such as hypokalemia, low potassium levels, big word for something simple, you probably should not use Lasix without correcting the imbalance of potassium, as the drug can actually exacerbate this. And I know there are some diuretic medications that say potassium sparing. So it prevents an excessive loss of potassium when you're losing the fluid. That's how I'm assuming that it works. So again, you'll be having all these conversations with your physician. If you have hypersensitivity to furosemide or to Lasix or sulfonamides, that sounds good. I think it sounds good. You should avoid this medication due to risk of severe allergic reaction, but I would assume that you would share with your physician if you have hypersensitivity, so this way you're not prescribed this particular loop diuretic. So here's some of the potential side effects of taking Lasix or furosemide. Electrolyte imbalance. Okay, it's common side effects to experience hypokalemia, hyponatremia, low sodium levels, so low potassium and low sodium, and hypomagnesemia. Low magnesium, low potassium, low sodium. These imbalances can actually lead to symptoms like muscle cramps, fatigue, heart arrhythmia. So if you're feeling all of those things, you could be like off balance when it comes to magnesium, sodium, or potassium. But you definitely want to communicate these types of things that you're feeling if you're on a diuretic. Hey, communicate it even if you aren't a diuretic. Dehydration and hypovolemia. Hypovolemia sounds like low volume. I just put the two words together. It just clicked in my head. Did you see that moment, Joshua? Did you see my wheels were like hypovolemia, volume?
I always watch when your wheels are turning, Karen. Always.
Okay, well, they were spinning right there. I was going. All right, so overuse can cause excessive fluid loss. So leads to dehydration, low blood volume, which can result in dizziness, fatigue, kidney dysfunction. I know a lot of women say often, especially during certain times of the month when they're retaining fluid, I wish I just had a diuretic. I could easily drop 5 pounds. But you don't want to overuse diuretics, and you shouldn't be using them for that particular reason. The fluid loss, yes, but as a weight loss contributor looking to see pounds come off the scale, that's not what you're using this for, because it's not true loss. It's water weight loss. You got to put that back on, right? So Don't overuse, don't misuse, take it as directed. It's really important. You don't want to end up dizzy. You don't want to faint. Mm. Ototoxicity, tomato, but it's that word. And you know what that word means? High doses of rapid intravenous administration of Lasix can actually cause hearing impairment or tinnitus. Tinnitus, 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 it's ringing in the ears. That's what that really special word means. And the side effect is usually reversible, but can be permanent in very severe cases. So again, if you're sensing any kind of odd sensation, feeling you're not used to, it could be a side effect. You want to let a physician know. Okay, hypotension, significant drop in blood pressure. Hypertension, when we have an increase in blood pressure. So you can experience hypotension, particularly in patients who are also on other antihypertensive medications, such as a beta blocker. And I'm sure there's other medications, but I'm not a physician, so I don't know all the other ones that might impact this. Hyperglycemia. Lasix can actually raise your blood sugar. That's hypo would be reduce it. So this could be problematic for diabetic patients. So I'm sure if you're a diabetic patient, you probably were not prescribed a loop diuretic or certain diuretics in this case, because it could actually raise your blood sugar. So furosemide is actually a critical medication for managing fluid overload and hypertension in patients with aortic and heart disease. However, it does require careful monitoring due to its potential side effects and contraindications. Ensuring proper patient selection and regular monitoring can help maximize the benefits of Lasix while minimizing the risks. There's always going to be a risk involved with pretty much any medication that I know of, right? If you take it too much, you misuse, there's always going to be risks, but always consult your healthcare professional before starting or stopping a medication. And also, if you're feeling something off, you want to let them know, because that could be a side effect and then they can make adjustments. So this information presented by our med students, as always, is basically used to provide general awareness and definitely should not replace professional medical advice. So that was it for this week. She says, thanks for letting her take over Tuesday, because she's typically our Monday post. And she said, keep an eye out for today's Medical Monday post, which is out. It all has to do with the diuretic again, another one. So yeah, that's your topic Tuesday. All right. Anybody here? Anybody I'm saying shout outs to? Saying hi?
Well, we
They're
definitely
quiet.
want to say hi to Christina.
Hi, Christina.
She's always dropping in. You know what she did this weekend? She went to a
What'd she do?
rodeo and she
All
met one
right.
of the actors. He's a Native American, Mo Brings
Mm-hmm.
Plenty, and he plays a Native American, a Native Indian in the Yellowstone series.
Okay.
I
Well,
love
that's
Yellowstone,
exciting.
so that was pretty awesome.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you're missing out.
I know.
It's
I
it's an
know.
interesting thing.
I
So Tony
know.
Montana dropped in to say, "Hey, he's visiting us from the future. He says he's organizing his CPAP machine on Friday, so looking forward to a good night's sleep finally." And
Very interesting.
I want to note something on the CPAP machine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in Kim McNicholas's group, one of the ladies was talking about how she finally decided to pull the trigger on a CPAP machine after doing those apparently at-home sleep studies.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and so what she said was, previous to really getting used to the CPAP machine, she would take naps every day.
Mm-hmm.
No longer. She goes to sleep around midnight. She wakes up around 6 or 7 in the morning and feels refreshed and amazing. So Tony, we
Very
look
good.
forward to hearing about your feedback when you get that thing up
Yeah.
and running. She did have one note. She said that she had to get used to putting the hose underneath her arm because she tosses and turns. So
This is Tony.
no, no, no. That's the lady that gave us the CPAP
Oh,
thing. Yeah, she said.
from the other. Yes.
Yep,
Okay.
she has
I
to
got
get. She
confused.
said, "Get used to putting that thing
Yeah.
under there, and if you toss and turn, it'll kind of go with you." And he's like, "That's my problem."
Well, so it's interesting because I've been seeing all of these commercials for a hoseless CPAP machine. It's something that is implanted and you put a device over it. I don't know how that works. I'm dying to find out. But I will tell you, there's a certain person that I have traveled with on the board that shall remain nameless that one time traveled with me for a radio show in New York when we were on Dr. Radio in Sirius. and did not bring the CPAP. And I literally sat like this all night long, sat straight up in bed. It got so bad that there was definitely no breathing happening at many times. So I woke this person up, and the person's like, "What's going on? What's wrong?" And I'm like, "You are not breathing. You are scaring me. You need to go back to your doctor." No sleep. The other person, sleep. Me, no sleep. And then the next morning I said, "I shall never, forever travel and share a room with you if you do not bring that CPAP machine." Because as soon as the person puts it on, literally in 10 seconds, this person is completely asleep. And I don't hear it. As somebody in the room, I hear nothing. I am out cold too, and there's not a peep, not a snore, not a rumble. All night long, the person does not move. It's pretty amazing. Without it, I can't believe people weren't banging on the walls like, "I stopped snoring." It was
Mm.
horrible, but scary. So I hope you start getting a really good night's sleep. That would be
Right
wonderful.
on. Also,
Yes.
Tony says beta blockers are killing me. And so I
Oh,
said, beta blockers tend to take some getting used to. Make sure you let them know if you're still having very low energy after a couple of weeks. Please
yeah.
make sure
Yeah.
you know that the side effects of the medications that you're on, they're kind of a warning sign. We have tons of medications out there. You're not supposed to be uncomfortable. You're not supposed to feel like you can't get
A
through your
zombie.
day. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
I mean, I started off with most people when they leave the hospital tend to be put on labetalol or metoprolol. That's like the number one lull of the lulls, which are the beta blockers. And I was on 900 milligrams, 333. And this is in the beginning when you set your alarm and you're like, "I must take it on time. I cannot be 5 minutes late." And I would forget where I lived when I was driving. I mean, I would be such in a fog and could not keep my eyes open. And I finally said something. And this is before I knew that it was okay because I think a lot of patients feel like if they say something to their physician, they're coming across, excuse me, as disrespectful or whiny. Well, now, of course, I say everything. Now I've learned enough I'm educated to, as I've been saying lately, educated to learn, to now communicate, which is advocating. I put them in all different orders. I haven't found the correct tagline yet, but I told my doctor she switched me to Nebivolol, which is known as Bistolic. Within a day or two, I was like a new person. New person. I took the pill twice a day, 5 milligrams. It's not the milligrams. I know it's the drug, but I wasn't tired. I became completely clear-minded, and I've never looked back. And so when I have to go to the ER, I have surgery and they give me meds, they put me back on metoprolol. And not that you're going to experience that huge of a change in just a couple days, but I hate it. I feel draggy,
Mm.
you know. Yeah, I see a difference.
Yeah, when it
So
comes to the beta blockers, I really do. I think about Tom Basserier, right?
yeah.
When he first got through his Type B surgery, he went months on the original beta blocker, and I can't remember. I think it was our doctor of pharmacology that was talking about all the
Hmm.
different ones that were there. And I think even she said that one of the major ones had a really sleepy effect on a lot of people. And he took that information, ran with it to his doctor, and he
Hmm.
immediately said, getting that change was a huge difference for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and we never know. We just never
Yeah.
know which ones are going to affect us the
Mm-mm.
most.
Nope, we don't. All right, we're moving on to Therapeutic Thursday. Life is hard. Getting support doesn't have to be. This was based off of the night before live event we did with Sarah coming to us from Help Texts. And we were talking about what Help Texts does. And as an organization, we are offering anyone who signs up their first month free to receive text messages. It's not to replace therapy sessions, it is just an additive, a way to feel as though you're being supported. Over 80 different professionals came together after numerous research to develop these pre-written text messages based upon people who are grieving the loss of a human versus pet. I say that because it makes a difference. Of people who are caregivers to people who are with a terminal illness, people who are experiencing some different types of mental health issues, whether it's depression, anxiety. Um, there's the variety that are listed there that you can choose from. So you sign up to receive 2 texts a week, and they are kind of like a pick me up. And all I can do is say the very first text I got after signing up, um, it was something about affirmation, positive affirmation. I want you to think of something that you can write about yourself that you can put in a post note and read on the mirror. And I just thought, this is corny. But then I thought, but what would I say to myself? And that was all that was on my mind. Like, what would I say to myself and put it on the mirror? And I talked with our other board member, Terry, because she signed up same time as me and she got a similar text. And she's like, I know, it got me to stop and to think. So now I'm trying to think of things about myself that I really like, which is really hard for a lot of us to do. So it was just interesting. And I wanted to read you what my text that came in today. Today's text, which I think is very interesting, said, Hi, Karen. The psychological sigh is a proven breathing technique that helps your body calm down quickly. It is 2 short inhales through your nose and 1 long exhale through the mouth. Make sure that your exhale is longer than your short inhales. Repeat this 3 times and try it now for immediate relief. And I did. And by the third one, I found that my inhale, even though it was short, was fuller. And I exhaled and I was like, oh God, I got that one right too. And so far, I'm really enjoying the text that I'm getting. It's not like it knows if I'm having a bad day or I'm exasperated, which I ended up being at that minute. And I was like, this came at the perfect time. Let's see if this stuff works. And it worked. Completely calmed me instantly. These are great texts, and I'm glad I can keep them saved in my phone so I can reference back and on a particular moment that I might need. So a little bit more about help text. You sign up using our link here, helptext.com/aortic. It's going to look like a landing page with our logos and information. And again, you'll get your first month free. You do not enter any credit card information, no payment information whatsoever. It's just a series of questions that would help them get a better sense of the services they can provide you. Everything is kept confidential. It's basically a service that's here, like it says, to provide us support for any types of life's challenges. So it is text-based service written by world-leading experts that are evidence-informed, rooted in current research and theory. And again, you get 2 texts a month pertaining to your personal situation. Also, you get to choose 1 to 2 supporters in your life. If you're grieving, you can pick 2 people that they also get 1 text a month to help learn how to support you. If you are suffering from depression or anxiety, pick a supporter and they'll learn how to support you. Same thing with caregivers. So that's no extra charge. So they're getting a text a month. You're getting 2 texts, a text a week, and you're getting 2 texts every week. And if you should decide after 30 days that you have enjoyed this service, it costs $99 for 1 year. 1 year. That's, 104 texts. Added in a couple extra sprinkle ones around specific dates that are of meaning to you, anniversaries of someone's birth, anniversary of someone's death. You enter that information as well, and you're getting a couple extra support text messages too. So when you think about it, yes, therapy is extremely important. I've been seeing a therapist. I've sometimes seen 2 for long periods of time. This is going to give me a minimum of 104 text messages a year for $100. So it's really inexpensive, but you get the first month free. So I encourage all of you to please try this service and let us know, send us an email. Let us know if you think it's beneficial and how it's working for you. So just so that you know, they adhere to very strict guidelines. The data will not be shared with any third parties. So you're not going to start getting text messages from companies or, it's nothing like that. And just so that you also know, we are not receiving any compensation for providing this service to you. We elected not to, and to give a free month to you instead. So we really hope that all of you take a moment to try it out. Share it with your family. Share the link with your family and your friends. They may derive some benefit from this as well. Personally, I'm kind of digging it, and I can't wait to see my second text this week. So that was our topic Tuesday. It's cool when we were interviewing her that the numbers were growing of people that were signing up while we were right there.
Yeah, that's excellent. I hope the next time we talk to her, we have some reviews to come in. Hi, Velda.
Hey, Velda. How you doing? All right. On that note, it's Feel Good Friday. Feel Good Friday. It was the last day of Mental Health Awareness Month, which is the month of May. And according to Hopkins, or music, I don't know if you knew this, but it provides a total brain workout. So we always talk about working out our bodies. How about work out your brain? And that will happen when you listen to music. Research has shown that listening to music can actually improve it can reduce your anxiety. Let's talk about that. It can help to reduce blood pressure and pain, as well as improve your sleep quality, your mood, your mental alertness, and your memory. So we asked the community to come up with a list of some really cool tunes. And I got everything from Baby Got Back, cool, Purple Rain, um, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, trying to just remember some of the ones I had. There's a lot on there. It was a pretty well diverse list. Some of it was pretty funny. Um, so I didn't specify the music list, like, do you want inspirational songs? All I know is that Jen Fernjack, I don't have the title of her book. Yes, I do. It's right here because if I mention her name, I want to give her a little plug. Jen Fernjack, who is the author of, I don't have her book right here. Josh, help me out. What's the name of her
Greater
book? I can't
Than the Power and
Right.
Strength of Emotional Grit by
Yes,
Jennifer
a must read.
Fernjack.
Must
And
read.
we would love it
Yeah,
if you guys gave that a shot and gave it a read through. She's currently
yeah,
embarking on getting that into Audible, so that'll be very interesting.
it's
She's
great.
going to be reading it
Yeah,
herself. We love that.
that's
And
great.
remember, she's somebody who had been diagnosed with a brain tumor, and that was the
Hmm.
beginning of how all of this came through for her. She
Yeah,
started to learn about grit in a hard, hard way.
yes. And if you want to grab a copy of that book, you can go to our resources section on our website. Just scroll down to the post about authors and about reading materials. She talks about music and the emotional connection and how it's been proven watching MRIs, watching live scans of what happens to the brain when you listen to music. And it is scientifically proven to reduce stress, to really just have a very calming effect. And for some people, even the most headbanging of music, it soothes them because they like it, because music invokes memory. Emotions are tied to music. I'm sure certain songs you can remember the first time you had a date with somebody, the first time you kissed somebody, first time a child was born. You can remember when people die. You can remember where you are at your first concert. So music is extremely powerful. I think it's overlooked and not given enough study, but Jen does a phenomenal job and a whole chapter of tying music into emotional grit and just emotional perseverance. And you should check out her book. She's awesome. So yeah, think about your own personal song list.
Yeah, that's
It's
awesome.
it's it pays. Yeah,
Tony
pays to create a
says
list.
Purple Rain is a classic.
Heck yeah, it's the
Yeah.
greatest. It's one of the greatest. So is Baby Got Back.
Velda says,
It's a great
I'm
song.
reading it again. She's reading
It
Jennifer
is. It's
Fernjack's
so
book again.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I usually have my book right here. It's probably literally right here because I reference it a lot of times in some of our posts, just because it's so well written. It's such a great book. I reference a lot of things from the authors in the community because they just had great things to say. So yeah, yep, read it again. All right, moving on to Survivor Series Saturday. We've talked about this a couple weeks in a row, but I have seen you guys filling out the forms. Thank you. Now we're just gearing up and scheduling for the second half of the year, which this time of year is a little challenging because you're all popping off on vacations. Kids are getting out of school. I know you got a lot going on, but we want you to be the shining star in someone's life. And the way you can do that is to share your story or your loved one's story. And this can be a story of survival. It could be your story of grief. It can be the story told from a caregiver. It doesn't matter. Your story to somebody else always is very validating to an aspect of their own experience or their upcoming experience. In addition, for yourself, I guarantee you're going to find it somewhat therapeutic. A lot of people become very, I think, intimidated of writing their story. And that's one of the three ways that you can do it. The other is pre-recording a video or going live like this and taking questions from the community. But it's not as bad as it sounds. Even if you cry, everybody loves a little tears, right? They love seeing the emotion and it will make you feel good. But if you do it in video form, you can change your costumes. I don't care. A cat walks across the screen. We don't care. We just want to hear you in your words tell your story. What we're really kind of looking for, and we're not we're not going to change anything that you submit to us, is we want to know about a diagnosis. What was your diagnosis like? How were you diagnosed that you had an aneurysm or a bicuspid valve? Was it because a family member had that and you went and got checked? Did you just have searing pain or very little pain and felt off and you found out you had a dissection? Were you misdiagnosed? These are all very important things. They're all success stories, and sometimes they're learning stories. They're educational stories that when we share your story with Think Aorta US, a very proactive organization, they want to share this with the medical staff in the ERs and with the EMTs. Our goal over there is to really kind of help decrease how long it takes to diagnose a situation, decrease how long it takes to get someone transferred, and get them right into that CT scan for, a proper diagnosis. So your story is a lot more critical than you realize, including those who have lost their loved ones. There's always a learning tool in that story as well. So fill out the form. Molly, our director of social media, will be in touch with you if you're doing it in written format. And Joshua, our wizardry guru person, I don't know what to call you. He'll be in touch for all video and electronic story submittals. So yeah, they're coming in. Keep them coming because we're going to start scheduling them. We tend to do them on Saturdays, and we will let you know when your story will be posted. So thank you. Your community thanks you. All right. Friday, we talked all about, look at this jazzy, awesome looking car decal. It's like a window cling. That's really what it is. And they're so eye-catching. And I don't know if you can see it here. There it is. See, not huge. Very easy to apply. I put it on my brand spanking new car. I was a little hesitant because it was a new car, but God, it looks so good. It looks really good. It's very eye-catching. It's really fun when I drive around town and I see somebody else with something from Aortic on, because I'm like, who is it? I only know so many people in my state and in my town. So that's fun. And I also love when someone stops me and they say, what is that? What's that logo? Even the awareness magnet, which I don't have one right on hand, we kind of took that traditional ribbon and we tweaked it a little bit to make it a little bit more recognizable with our icon. So we get stopped for those things all the time, and people want to know more, and it's a great opportunity for you to create a little bit of awareness in the community. These right now can be yours with a $5 donation. It's very simple. There is a donation link. There's an order form here, but you can also go to our resources page. Our Hope Swag page. Someone said they didn't see it in the order forms because you have to scroll to the bottom for this item. The first item you're going to see on the order form is our seatbelt covers. The second will be the car magnet, and the third is the decal. So shop a little while you're on the page, right? And then you'll make a donation clicking the donate button, and you have a couple options on how you can make that donation as well. I just got a ton of them ready to ship out later this afternoon. So thank you to everyone who donated and ordered your car decal. They make great gifts too. I know Father's Day is right around the corner. There's plenty of time for me to get that out to you guys. So think about that as well. All right, let's take a look at our events coming up. It's a busy month, and we're still oh my God, it's May. Why is May stuff still on here? I got to take that off. All right, so tonight, how exciting. We have our first Spanish speaking support group meeting led by Maria Herrera. She is a community member, survivor, LCSWC. She's LCSW. She is a licensed clinical social worker. She is an author. Her poetry books are on our resources, and she is moderating the support group tonight. We feel very confident that as our Spanish guides are flying off the shelves, that more and more physicians now will be able to refer their Spanish speaking patients to this support group. So it happens the first Monday at 7 p.m. of every month. Also, later tonight, when the East Coast is in their jammies, we have at 10 p.m. our caregiver support group meeting, and that is being moderated by Terry Ali. She is a caregiver. And her husband is a survivor, and she's just wonderful, a ball of energy, and she's so excited to meet people tonight. So hopefully to anybody, any survivors, tell your caregivers to join. To caregivers, we look forward to having you on this call tonight. Obviously, we have another support group. This is like a busy week for support group because tomorrow on Tuesday, as always, at 12 p.m. is our general support group meeting open to anyone. We have Aortic Kitchen this month, and I think this one is this one the baking? What's this one?
Yes, we're doing, remember. I think mug cakes and cake
Pies.
pops.
cake pops and pies. I like it. I like this. I like everything this month. I'm so super excited. I'm very excited about that. And then to our Canadian folks, what do you say to Canadians? What isn't there saying something? Velda, come on, tell us what we're supposed to say. There's got to be like a, you know,
Maybe.
it's not like,
Usually it's just hello.
yeah. Oh, really? Okay. But whatever it is, we have your Canadian support group meeting being moderated by Martha and Velda, and I'm sure they're going to have a ton of fun over there. We have our aortic hangouts. Our aorta hangouts, they happen every Thursday. Ton of fun at 2 p.m. Qigong every Sunday. We just had one. There's a ton of stuff. Now, next week, you will have Tammy Warner here in place of me because I'm going to not be here next Monday. Let's just leave it at that. But she's going to jump in and she's super excited to be able to lead you through the weekend review. And then I'll see you in 2 weeks. And that's it. We just got our ton of our stuff happening all month. It's just a lot of support group meetings, hangouts, fun, community, scheduling stuff for other things coming up. So it's busy. It's a busy, busy thing. And we're hopping over to the Society of Vascular Surgery conference on June 18th. So that's exciting. We're going to have a booth there with Think Aorta representing and talking to physicians and talking to all kinds of vascular and vascular surgeons about our book and about our services, preactive and proactive collaborations happening all over the place. So that's what we've got. So who joined us today that we can spin a wheel? We had Tony, we had Christina, we had Velda.
I think all three of them get their car decals.
Okay. All three of them can have a choice of a magnet or a car decal. I like it. It's my birthday month, so I'm feeling very giving. I'm going to give presents.
Velda says.
Because your presence is my presence.
She goes,
what?
Hey. That's what they say.
Oh, that's it? Hey? Hey.
So I go, hey. And she goes, what's up? And I go, what's up with you? She says, busy cutting grass.
Okay. Well, it's not top of the morning. It's not like when you're in Alabama and you say roll tide. So there is a saying. I'll figure it out. I don't know. But all three of you, yay. Yay to all of you.
Yay.
So, yeah.
Email info@aortichope.org. Tony, Velda, Christina. Let us know whether you want a car magnet or a car decal.
Yes, please.
And, yes, and please.
Yes, and please. And yeah, and I will get your address, your mailing address. I'll get those out to you.
Tony
this
says,
week.
Fantastico. He says,
Fantastico.
Happy birthday, Karen.
Oh, thank you. Still got a couple weeks to go. So it's going to it's on the 25th. So I'm going to have a fun weekend review on the 24th. We'll make it like a party.
Right on.
Hey, it's double nickels. It's a big birthday.
All right.
I just got my hair dyed for the event, so I won't have any grays for my 55th. Okay, so that's our weekend review, everybody. Don't forget to click like, click subscribe, click the little bell so you're notified every time we go live, like Christina and Tony and Velda are, because that's why they're here, because they love us and they get their subscription bell notification. So thank you again for joining us. And yeah, we'll see you next week. All right, take care. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.